creating what you say really matters to you, it's time to find out why, is it not? Armed with some clear reasons, you can actually make changes that allow you to focus on making what you value part of your life. You're a creator. You create all the time with your thoughts, your emotions, and behaviors. You just may not be creating the things that really matter to you. And that seems odd, does it not? After all, you say these things are important to you, and yet you're not creating them. So, what do you want to create? What really matters to you that you don't yet have the experience of in your life? Maybe it's a loving relationship or good friends, or maybe it's a more fulfilling job or greater income, or maybe it's better health or time to pursue your hobbies or the ability to travel the world. Maybe you want to start a business of your own, write a book, become a pop star, whatever matters to you. If you aren't creating it, it's likely for one of the 8 reasons that I'm going to share. So the first one is that you don't really value it. It doesn't really matter to you. You say it matters to you, but on some level, unconscious probably, you don't really want it. We have to really want the things that, if we're going to create something, we have to really want it. And so if you don't really value it, if it doesn't really matter to you, maybe you're just giving it lip service and saying it matters to you when it doesn't. And if so, then you're not going to create it because it doesn't really matter to you. So that's number one. You don't really value it. It doesn't really matter to you, even though you say it does. Number 2 is that you're not committed to it. So in order to create something, you have to be committed to it on some level. Now, I said that you're creating with your thoughts and your emotions and your actions all the time. But the fact is that those things are creating in your life because you're committed to them. You're thinking the thoughts over and over again. You're doing the behaviors over and over again. You're feeling the way you feel over and over again, repeatedly. And so the universe gets it, that you're committed to this. And in fact, you are, because you're putting effort and time into that. And so you're creating these other things, even if they're not what you want, not what you value, not what matters to you. So you have to be committed. And if you don't know what you're committed to, just look at your life. If every day you sit down and you watch 3 hours of TV, you're committed to watching 3 hours of TV. If every day you spend 2 hours reading a novel, that's what you're committed to. If you're committed to eating ice cream every night, or potato chips every day, or eating a vegan diet, or not having sugar, those are the things you're committed to. And you're doing them. The reason you're committed to them is you're doing them. All you have to do is look at your life to see what you're committed to, because that's where your thoughts are. That's where you're emotionally vested. That's where you are taking action. Okay? So if you're not creating what really matters to you, you're probably not committed to it. Number 3, the reason that you're not creating what matters to you is because you're making excuses. You're not taking responsibility. So this could look like saying you really want to create this thing that matters to you, but you don't have the time. You want to create this thing that matters to you, but you don't have the money. You want to create this thing that matters to you, but you have to wait till your kids are out of school. Any number of excuses. I know they sound like reasons to you, and you may think they truly are reasons. But if you took 100% responsibility for yourself, you would realize that you always are at choice. You can choose to let the fact that the kids are still at home and you have responsibilities related to your children to stop you from creating what matters, or you can say, I'm going to find a way to do it anyway. You're responsible for everything in your life. I know there's some things that seem random and maybe bad, and you may be saying, well, I didn't bring those into my life. I'm not responsible for them. But on some level, you're responsible for everything in your life. And you can look at it just as this happened and I'm responsible for my response to it, right? I'm responsible for my response. So what am I going to do next? X happened and that was out of my control, right? That wasn't my responsibility, but now how am I going to behave in a responsible manner? How am I going to choose or decide to do something? And will I actually do it? That's taking responsibility for your life. Stop blaming everything else for why you can't create what matters and find a way to create it. I'm sorry for the jingling bells. My dog has decided that it's time to go out, and she is jingling, even though she has other ways to get out. So if that's what you're hearing, that's why. She's not taking responsibility for the fact that she has a doggy door, and she can go there if she wants. Anyway, okay, so we talked about that you don't really value it, or it doesn't really matter, you're not committed, or you're making excuses and not taking responsibility for your life. Number 4 is habits. You have to, if you want to create what matters to you, you have to have the habits that support creating that. So if you aren't creating what matters to you, you haven't developed the habits that you need to have to create it. So it's kind of like if you say it really matters to you to be a writer, then you would want to create the habit of writing every day. And of course, you would need to stop making excuses and take responsibility for making that happen and be committed enough to make it happen, right? So habits, you need to have habits that support the creation of what matters to you, whatever those are. It could be change in thought habits, it could be change in eating habits, it could be change in how you communicate type habits, all kinds of habits. All right, number 5 is mindsets. So your mindset is the lens through which you see everything. And so it's that mindset that's going to tell you you don't have time, you don't have money, whatever, because the more your mindset is related to your thoughts and beliefs, right? And so if you think a thought long enough, it becomes a belief, and your beliefs become your mindset. And so if you have a negative mindset, you're going to see everything negatively. If you have a positive one, you're going to see things positively, and you'll find ways to create what matters to you. Your mindset is the lens through which you see everything. So if you, for whatever reason, don't think that you can create what matters to you, it's related to your mindset. And so you have to develop a mindset that's open to possibilities and that does take responsibility and that sees ways to make changes, ways to create what matters to you. Okay, number 6 is trust. So a lot of times we don't create what matters to us because we don't trust that if we start working on that we will make progress, that we will actually get the result we want. And so you have to begin to trust. I talk about this a lot with intuition, that if you have an intuitive hit, you feel inspired to do something, you have to trust it enough to take action on it, which I'm going to talk about in a minute. But first there has to be trust. And trust is, I know that this is what this matters to me. I know this is what I'm supposed to do. I know I'm supposed to take this action. So let's kind of combine this with number 7, which is courage or bold action. So courage is bold action. And when you trust, you take bold action. You do something based on your intuition or your inspiration. You trust yourself enough. You trust that what you want to create and say matters to you really does, and that it's worth doing. You trust it, and so then you take bold action. You actually do something. Okay? And number 8 is identity. And if you have to see yourself as a creator, I started out saying you're a creator. And so you have to see yourself as someone who can create what matters to you, who has the ability to do that. And you have the ability because when you change your identity to a creator, you realize that you can create whatever it is that matters to you. So that's who you are. You're a creator. So you're someone who can take the actions that create what matters to you. And so you automatically, your habits and your mindset are going to automatically align with your identity. So if you see yourself as a creator, you will take bold action because you do trust. You will have the positive mindset and the mindset that's always looking for opportunities. And you're going to have the habit of doing all the things necessary to create what matters to you. You're going to take responsibility for making that happen because you're also committed to making it happen. And you're going to know that this really matters to you, right? So all of this, once you do the identity, which is the eighth reason that you don't have that identity, you don't see yourself as a creator, you don't see yourself as someone who can do the things necessary to create what matters to you. Once you shift that identity, even if you don't want to shift it to creator, to I am someone, identity, I am someone who has the ability to do the things, take the actions necessary to create what matters to me, all of this is going to fall into place, all of it. And so you can see how these 8 reasons are also 8 ways to begin creating what matters to you. You have to want to create, you have to really value the thing you say matters to you. You need to become committed to creating it. You need to take responsibility for creating it. You need to have the habits and the mindsets that allow you to create it. You have to have trust and take bold action that allow you to create what matters to you. And all of that becomes possible because you are now someone who creates what matters to you. You're a creator, but more simply, you can say, I am someone, maybe it's not more simple, but I am someone who creates what matters to me. And there you have it. That's how you go about creating what matters to you. So it just so happens that as I am recording this video, that I'm prepping for a free masterclass, a free 3-day masterclass called Create What Really Matters to You. Okay, and like I said, it's a free masterclass. It's happening February 11th, 12th, and 14th, 2025, in case you're seeing this video at some other time. February 11th, 12th, and 14th. And I will be teaching you how to be the type of person who will do the things, take the actions to finally create what you say you want, that you say you value, that you say really matters to you, but you haven't been able to make a reality yet. I'm going to teach you how. Okay, so I am going to include a link up above and also down below to register for the Create What Really Matters to You masterclass. And I invite you to come, and I hope you will, because this is one of my favorite topics to talk about. And there's no reason for you not to create what really matters to you this year. So let's get moving on that. Okay. All right, so if you are new to me, I'm Nina Amir, the Inspiration to Creation Coach. I am a certified high performance coach, an intuitive transformational coach, an author coach, an author, all sorts of things. And what I love doing is helping people step into being the type of person who can create what matters to them, can create their desires, and yeah, there's some woo-woo in that, some law of attraction, but this is really based in some very fundamental facts about who we are, and mystical or esoteric wisdom, and personal growth and psychology and brain science and all those things. I just like helping you get from where you are to where you want to go, and to bridge that gap by learning how to be someone who can bridge that gap. So if that's of interest to you, then register for the masterclass, Create What Really Matters to You. And yeah, first do that if you're watching this when registration is still happening. If you're watching this later, I'm going to put another link up above that tells you how to work with me. 3 ways you can work with me. Yeah, and if you're confused and don't know what to do next, whether I'm the right coach for you or whatever it is, I'm going to put a third link up above for you to schedule a little talk with me, a brief talk for 15 minutes. We can talk about how you can best work with me and whether we're a good fit to work together. Okay, and so there you have it. That's it for today. I would love to see you creating what matters to you this year. And to do that, you need to step into being a creator and to being what I call an inspired creator, and be someone who can take the actions that allow you to create what really matters to you. So that's my wish for you. And until I talk to you next time, go out there and achieve more inspired results.